fans, welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that lovely brutal OSC as we returned with the first qualifying match of the night. A match that I was not expecting, I'll be honest. We just got an update. I did just post in the Twitch chat, but Spirit was the heavy favorite to make a deep run in this tournament and even qualify for the main event. But Spirit is no longer in the tournament. Spirit, he was knocked out 2-0 by our Protoss player. And I'm a little bit in shock, a little bit in awe, and we are about to jump into our first best of 5 spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Arrogfire TLMC 17. We have the Finnish Zerg player, the blue Zerg. It is Mixu. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the Spirit Slayer himself. We have the French Protoss, the red Protoss. It is Arrogfire. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will take the series. Best of luck in the chat. As a reminder, this is a best of 5 qualifying match. And again, I'm shocked to see that Spirit is no longer in the event. The match was actually happening at the same time as our ZVZ. So while we were covering GG Machine versus Mixu, Arrogfire versus Spirit was ongoing. And they did wrap up at around the similar time. Ooh, as the probe is going to be shut down. And Mixu is forced to take the unnatural natural. Oh boy, okay, it's all coming together here. It's going to be Hatch Gas Pool opener here at a Mixu, does shut down the probe, and is forced into a bit of a more awkward start here. We'll see how Arrogfire does approach this. Now, Arrogfire, he's a player that has been less active. He's been less active specifically this year. He was very active, especially during the COVID era of StarCraft, during the proper seasons of EPT, but this year, 2024, Arrogfire, he was playing in less and less tournaments. He was still active every now and then. We'll play like in 1 or 2 events a month, nothing too major, but it's great to see him back, and for him to take down Spirit 2-0 is a big statement here from Arrogfire, showing that he still has it in him, and he may be the one to make it instead, to make it into the main event. Oh boy, we're here to find out. We are here to find out. Let's go. For now, we do have our initial Ling opener here to just keep our bases safe and sound. Mixu going to be opening up with his queens, joining up, saturating his bases, and we'll see what Arrogfire can get done. It's going to be the Stargate opener back at home. Meanwhile, welcome one and all to Arrogfire. We were just here in the previous ZVZ when Mixu went for the 4-base all-in, or I guess 3-base saturation, hashtag all-in. It was a crazy build out of Mixu in that previous ZVZ. As we saw, the rush distance by ground is very short, so you can make use of that, of course. The downside is, of course, the ramps and the choke points that you can make use of. Our last GG Machine was unable to do so. We'll see how Arrogfire approaches this instead. I would imagine that Mixu would be aggressive this game. Speaking of, he's making Lings, and he's not joining. There we go. It's going to be a Ling Queen flood here across the map. Lings are moving out. They get scouted. But Arrogfire is going to be caught out. One in depth will shade across the map just barely in time. Does shade. There are 3 Lings here to catch it, but alas, only 3 Lings. The depth will get away, and so far so good. Arrogfire, he's holding. He's throwing down a wall of shield batteries, a wall of pylons as well. The longer this goes on, the better it is for Arrogfire. And Mixu, he's still committed. Yeah, GG gets called. There's a full wall up going on, and Arrogfire will take game number 1. Whew, GG. GG, well played. Good scouting, good read out of Arrogfire. Unfortunately, Mixu, he was unable to hide his all-in well enough to try to, of course, catch his opponent off guard. Ideally, you're able to catch Arrogfire with, you know, insufficient wall off here back at home, getting a 3rd base, taking an expansion, and likewise with that shield batteries at the natural as well. But alas, we saw that Arrogfire, he was heavily fortified. Perfectly fine. GG. GG well played. Just like that, Arrogfire takes a lead, and we'll see if he can continue that lead here and make his way further in this series. Up next, we're going to be loading into Whispers of Gold. Here we go. I wonder if Spirit got caught trying to cheese too. I'm not entirely convinced of that, just because it's possible. Definitely, anything is possible. But their series was longer than ours, right? We did have to wait. That's why we had some extended downtime, is because at least the second game of Arrogfire versus Spirit was a longer game, so we had to wait for them to wrap up first. So it's possible that maybe there was like some failed cheese and some failed aggression, which led into a longer game state with Arrogfire taking a lead. That is possible. But I mean, as we saw previously from Spirit here in tonight's broadcast, we cast a lot of Spirit in Mass Colosseum. He wasn't really too aggressive in TVP, much more mid-game oriented. Regardless, we're settling into game 2, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Whispers of Gold, we have our blue Zerg player. We have our blue Zerg from Lena, Finland. We'll see if he can bounce back and make a series out of this. It is Mixu. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the red Protoss player, the French Protoss, leading the series 1-0. It is Arrogfire. But yeah, based on we did cast a lot of Spirits TVP tonight. We cast a Spirit versus Zan and Spirit versus Clem earlier today. And again, it's typically more mid-game focused, at least in the TVP matchup. Regardless, I mean, that's why it's quite impressive for Arrogfire to have won that series. Again, I would imagine in more longer standard games. But this is a different matchup, and we have yet to really embrace this PvZ. You know, game 1 did end very quickly, very abruptly. Once again, we're loading into Whispers of Gold. For those that are curious, this is the one of the smallest maps in the map pool. I'm actually a little bit uncertain as to which rush distance is shorter, either Whispers of Gold or El Dorado. I think El Dorado is shorter if you mine through the mineral patches, and if both players expand towards each other, towards the south side. Towards the top side, I'm a little bit uncertain as of that. Regardless, a very aggressive map. Very aggressive, short rush distance by ground. The 3rd and 4th bases are exposed. We have seen a lot of Zerg players go for all-ins. We've seen a lot of 2-base all-ins, 3-base all-ins, German taxis, queen walks across the map. We've seen a lot of aggression here from our Zerg players, and I would imagine Mixu is going to be doing something similar here as well. I don't expect to see another Link Flood. I don't expect another Link Flood, but I expect, you know, in the mid game with a bit greater saturation, aggression here from the Zerg. We'll see. We shall see. As Arrogfire is on patrol, back at home, Stargate opener, everything looking as it should. Stargate opener into Oracle, into a 3rd base. Really, my eyes are going to be on Mixu to see his saturation, to see his gas income, to see if he takes earlier tech. What does he go for? For now, he pulls out. Does pull out of gas, getting his 3rd base, and joining up. So far, nothing crazy here out of Mixu, just getting a safety amount of links initially. As our players are setting up and settling in. The initial 2 adepts have arrived. They can threaten a dive into the mineral lines. So far, Mixu, he is keeping up. He does fully wall off. Nice Evo block there from Mixu. Adept shade to the other side. They take off a Ling. Pick up another. Just a couple of Lings here and there as they head into the main. Again, force back, and just really careful play here out of Arrogfire. He doesn't commit into a base, he doesn't throw away his adepts. Because the adepts survive, they can race back home and get in position to defend the 3rd base. So just really careful play here by Arrogfire as he gets into his 3-base economy. Meanwhile, the Oracle has arrived. Ooh, Arrogfire going to be spending energy here to chase down a couple of Lings. Best use of that energy, but regardless moves out. 2nd Oracle's on the way. 3rd base now being taken. And again, really my eyes are going to be on Mixu here to keep up with the defense of the Oracle. So far, though, 3 drones going to be going down. Almost 4. 3 drone kills, nice damage by Arrogfire. Behind this, ooh, a faster Twilight Council. Into a gateway, into another gateway. And this could be one of 2 things. This could either be fast glaive adepts, could be fast glaives here out of Arrogfire, or fast blink. Based on the kind of player that Arrogfire is, I would imagine this is going to be blink stalkers, but I mean, glaives is still going to be a viable option here for Arrogfire. Regardless, an aggressive build here from the Protoss, and I mean, this goes both ways, right? I was talking earlier how on this map we've seen a lot of all-ins from the side of Zerg players, likewise from the side of Protoss as well. Like, aggression is just favored on this map. As Mixu is spreading creep forward. There is on the way, they're around the 5-minute mark. And we have the answer, Blink. Okay, there's going to be Blink Stalkers here out of Arrogfire. So, as a result, there's going to be an earlier Blink timing from the Protoss. He can be more aggressive and more assertive early on. But you can see Mixu is spreading creep very aggressively towards the 3rd base of Arrogfire. The goal here will be to knock down the rocks and to commit across the map. Lings are amassing. Mixu is cutting workers at 52. And Mixu, will he drone any further? For now, he's waiting for his Roach Warren, waiting for his lair as well. Oracles, they hit the natural. They get one more drone. And the other plus side here for Arrogfire, because this Twilight Council is so early, because Blink is so early, it means that Blink is going to be ready for the all-in. And it is an all-in. So Mixu is going all-in, and again, Blink will be available. There won't be any upgrades, of course, there's no Forge, but against this kind of play, I do actually like Arrogfire's position, as long as you realize what's going on. For now, he's already being proactive at clearing up creep, which will delay reinforcements. And Mixu, again, he hasn't made a drone in quite some time. He's purely making Lings and Roaches. It is an all-in out of Mixu. The Lings, they do get across the map. Arrogfire, he's distracted. You can see he's setting up for his own all-in. Shaving off Lings. Oh, catching out the Queens. He gets one. He gets one. He gets two. Back at home. Oh, the Lings, they get shut down. Shield battery did fall, but they have to be quick to replace it. Allows they shut down the pylon. Yeah, reinforcements on the front lines are going to be delayed. Alas, Mixu is forced back. Again, it's kind of weird, a weird dynamic. Basically, both players are trying to all-in each other. So the proxy pylon is cleaned up, but Mixu is still not droning. Arrogfire has the better economy. Arrogfire, now he's taking up. Okay, he recognized what's going on. He now realizes, he's like, hold up, I should just defend. And now he's taking Forge on the way. Shield batteries, charge as well. Lings, they attempt to surround. Oh, they catch out 3 Stalkers. I say 3, really? They only get 1? Oh my god. Only 1 Stalker goes down. Arrogfire throwing down more shield batteries, preparing here at the 3rd. But again, he wants to be proactive. He wants to engage out in the center of the map and then kite back to those shield batteries to the stasis traps. As Lings, they do hit the natural. So for Arrogfire, he is in position, he does respond. +1 attack is now on the way for Arrogfire. Charge now done as well. Oh, a bit of an odd blink there from the Protoss. Gets a Ravager. Gets a couple of units here and there. Templar Archives on the way. That's going to be for Archon production for potential Storm. I do still favor the Arrogfire's position here. Being very efficient with his trades. We'll lose 1 Stalker, shaving off more Lings. Picking up Roaches. Once again, very nice control. I'm afraid to look at the trades where they're going. 9 Stalkers have gone down so far. 9 Stalker for 78 Lings. 4 Roaches and 2 Ravagers. Just very efficient trades. See Mixu going for a split push. Ooh, getting caught out. Yeah, Roaches do fall. Stasis about to run out. We can see Mixu still just purely making Ling Roach. Mixu has not made drones in minutes. It's been a very long time. Oh, that's around. Roaches, they get caught out. And things are looking bleak here for Mixu. He's committing on the right-hand side, runs into one of the stasis. Stasis goes off of the Lings. It just gives time here to Arrogfire as he responds. He rotates. Files, they take down one of the pylons. There's still 2 more shield batteries behind this. Yeah, and it's all or nothing for Mixu. Tries to commit in. Meanwhile, Storm is done. Oh my god, and the Storm connects. GG gets called, and Arrogfire, he defends. He takes a 2-0 lead in the series. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Arrogfire 1 game away from qualifying. 1 game is all he needs. And I'm not opposed to how both players approach this game. Game number 2, of course, on Whispers of Gold. As we were saying leading into it, how aggression is favored on Whispers of Gold. We saw both players attempt all in each other, but in that attempt, I did favor Arrogfire as he was able to, of course, get into really fast blink, have a much more efficient army much earlier on, and completely just pick Mixu apart very impressive play there by Arrogfire. Was able to shut him down, and again, Mixu couldn't transition out of that. We had some really rough stasis traps going to be going off. At least Mixu was able to shut down the initial proxy pylon and reinforcing pylon, but outside of that, things were looking worse and worse there as time went on. And now we're getting into game 3, and I'm hoping that we can begin the comeback here. I'm hoping that we can bounce back and make a series out of this, get to game 4, potentially even game 5, but the pressure is going to be on Mixu here to bring it back. Let's go. Let us go. Now we're going to be loading into a much larger map. We're going to be loading into Amygdala. This is where I would say that this map favors more mid to late game play. The bases here are much more secure. It is much more awkward to commit to an all-in on this map. Not impossible, but just a little bit more awkward here. So I expect to see something more passive, something more macro-oriented from both sides. But we'll keep an eye on our players. We're getting into game number 3. Let us go. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Amygdala, we have our Finnish Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg. Down in the series, up against the wall. He has to fight back here and now to, again, make a series out of this. It is Mixu, the Finnish Zerg. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the red Protoss player from the land of France, leading the series 2-0, one game away from qualifying and making it into the main event. It is Arrogfire. 2 queens don't pick the queen. Yeah, I mean, catching the queens was really nice as well. I mean, there's just a lot went in favor of Arrogfire. Like, there was that was a lot that went well for the Protoss in that last game. Definitely. Here's a lot that did go well. But again, now we can settle into a very, very different map. A map where you can secure yourself on at least 3 bases a little more easily. The 4th base can be awkward depending on which 4th base you take. If you expand on the right hand side, then you can expand towards your opponents behind your army. If you're being more aggressive and more assertive, you can try to rush into the goal base, which is very dependent on whether you have map control. If you do, then hey, you can get away with the gold and you can snowball out of control. If you don't, then the goal base is going to be punished, very much so, and it can be very difficult to maintain this position. So we'll see what bases we end up in. But before that, we'll see what kind of openers we go for. We're imagining a Stargate opener out of Arrogfire. He has gone Stargate every game so far, so no reason to deviate, especially on Amygdala. Meanwhile, Mixu, he has gone for all-ins 2 games in a row. Game 1 was a Link Flood, Game 2 was a 2.5 base all-in, essentially. It was under 3 base saturation. If you remember, 52 drones. It was like 52 drones or 53, like 2.5 base all-in out of Mixu. Here I'm expecting like proper saturation. Like I'm expecting, you know, 6 to 6 drones, like 3 base saturation, 4th base for larva at least. We'll see. Technically, you can try to be a little bit cheeky on this map just because of the nature of the map itself, and try to rush into a Spire, into Mutaplay, for example. I wouldn't be opposed to that. But now, 3rd base is being taken for Mixu. Ooh, that's a probe. Does escape. Meanwhile, there's a take of choice. Stargate opener out of Arrogfire. Again, no surprise here is going to be the Stargate. But just like the previous game, our eyes are going to be on the tech timing. We'll see when he throws down that Twilight Council. That will be indicative of how aggressive or how macro-oriented Arrogfire plans on being. Would be the timing of the follow-up tech. Again, because the early Twilight Council that we saw last game, it led into early Blink, into early aggression. Here, Oracle's on the way. Arrogfire poking in with the Adepts. Takes down 1 Link so far, nothing major. And will shade away. Does shade back home. Arrogfire setting up to expand here at the triangular 3rd location. Mixu will delay. Oh, and can he get the probe? Up! Can he get it? Oh my god, just barely. Probe goes down. Nice little pickoff. Likewise, Lings, they move in for a 2nd delay. But this time the Adepts are ready. Does rotate around, does not get the probe. This time Arrogfire does defend. Oracle moves out. Second Oracle's on the way. And last game, by now we would have seen a Twilight Council. So for the time being, we are just focusing on the economy, probing up. Ooh, no sport. The third Queen's a little bit out of position. One drone goes down. Second Oracle's on the way. There's that Twilight Council. And we should be seeing a Forge alongside it. If it's going to be a gateway, we may just go for earlier blink again. Okay, there's a Forge. So Forge is on the way. And again, this Twilight Council was thrown down at the halfway mark of the third base. So much later compared to normal. And again, because of the Forge, we're building up towards +1, focusing on upgrades and less so on a gateway explosion and on aggression. So Arrogfire, he's setting up for a longer game state. Meanwhile, Mixu getting a safety Roach Warren. Likewise, droning up, saturating his third base, getting up fourth as well. And hey, we're macroing. We're headed towards the mid game. No signs of aggression from either player. There's Blinken +1, as we did mention. Third base getting saturated. And from here, Arrogfire has a couple of different options. He could commit into a gateway composition with +1 blink and charge, as one Queen goes down. But he could commit to mass gateways. He could try to transition, take gases, and go into a Robo, into a Bay, into Colossus. Could go Templar Archives instead into Storm. Gases are being taken. And there's the tech of choice, Templar Archives. So Storm is the tech here for Arrogfire. And again, Arrogfire has a very small army, has been, not really, or hasn't even had gateways to warp in, just teching and focusing on that next step. Or of course they dip in, they get 2 drones. Two workers go down, not bad. Mixu getting his 4th, now getting a 5th base as well. Still droning, still saturating. It looks like he's going to be focusing on Ling Roach Ravager. We'll see if he takes into Hydras and Lurkers. For now, he's focusing on Ling Ravager, or Ling Roach. Well, there's a splash damage of choice. I mean, Temple Archives means Storm, so Storm is on the way. Arrogfire, he has eyes on the 5th. And can he force a cancel? Oh! Things to engage. Arrogfire, he has to back up. Stasis Trap is barely going to finish in time. Oh my god, catching out the Lings. No, the Roaches are exposed. Roach is going to be going down. Extensive losses here for Mixu. Ah, that Stasis was brutal. And the base goes down. That's a kill in the expansion. Roaches did fall, and Arrogfire gets away. Nice trades here from the Protoss. Mixu has to back up. And bearing in mind the soup does lie. Mixu's supply is inflated because of Roaches, as they're not the most efficient of armies. Cost efficient even. Supply efficient. Efficient in general. So Mixu's building up. Knocks down the rocks, trying to retake a 5th. As Mixu is knocking down those rocks, gaining access to the center of the map. Arrogfire likewise building up. Banking up storms. He's got 6 High Templar. That's a lot of storms. And Mixu is going to be the first to max out. Now pushing in, takes down the cannon. Where are the storms? Yeah, brittle storms here on the Roaches, on the Ravagers as well. We'll be zoning them back. And there should be more storms available once again on the main army. And Mixu, can he break through? There's no storms left. Now last Arrogfire, he has run out of storms. Archons are morphing in, and there's just not enough Roach Ravager. Yeah, there's not enough. Arrogfire holds. He does hold on. Oh, Mixu's still trying to force his way in. But the Archons are here to deal with the Lings. And Mixu, he can't really engage here. Oh, he does get into the mineral line though. 7 probe kills. 7 workers go down. Arrogfire is still ahead in the economy. And again, Mixu he has not made a drone in quite some time. This is a 3-base all-in. Now, what I will say, this 3-base all-in is actually a little bit stronger than normal because of the gold. The gold base is a big factor here for Mixu. But he is purely all-in on Ling Roach Ravager. Mixu, he's not taking into a Spire, he's not taking into Hydras, not taking into a Hive, and no more upgrades. Just +1. Just +1. And just mass Ling Roach. So one way or another, the game is going to end. Either Mixu kills Arrogfire or he dies trying. Ooh, Storm's popping. Oh god, the storm was brutal. Storm of the Roaches, another storm lands. And with that, Mixu, his army is just melting. His army is just plummeting here. And at one point, Mixu, he was up like 30, 40 army supply. Now he's barely up in supply, which means that really he's down. Again, it's just a very inefficient army. And that's a fleet beacon on the way. Like, Arrogfire, he's taking into Skytoss. He doesn't even need Skytoss. Oh my god. Mixu, for the first time, he just droned. He just made a wave of workers. He's saturating the gold. It looks like Mixu has realized that he cannot end the game. He cannot kill Arrogfire. But this is late droning and late tech. I mean, there is no tech. There we go. Finally, a 10-minute, almost an 11-minute Hydra Den. 10.5-minute Hydra Den here from Mixu. Very late. Gases are now being taken. This should be for an infestation bit. Meanwhile, here comes the main army. And Mixu is in trouble. Yeah, he's in a lot of trouble. GG gets called. He cannot hold on. And Arrogfire, he will snowball out of control, taking the series 3-0. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Arrogfire, he snowballs out of control. He will claim the series, will advance on and qualify for the main event. Very impressive here. Arrogfire, he takes down not just Spirit 2-0, but Mixu as well. And with that, he's the first player to qualify in tonight's brackets. But now we're getting ready for our next qualifying match, I believe.